Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of y'all, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. So with that being said, I want to thank those of you that did come through on the Cash App, most recently Nana SW, Carlos C. Let's see, let me get the list of the other list of the names. Robert Campbell, MR on the other side. Thank you from the bottom of my black heart and from the depths of my black mind. Also, let me go ahead and thank Gail at Night, who has been helping out Celebrity Podcast, because what you've been doing is awesome. The three of you. I can't remember the third one's name that's been helping out you and Celebrity Podcast. And thank you for those updates. Through her, I've learned that Rhoda Brickisha Osman can't access the funds in the GoFundMe that clearly belongs to her, and the other ones have been shut down. Every time she starts a new GoFundMe with somebody else's name, they get shut down because she has to promote them for people to go to those GoFundMes. And now she's trying to get people to help her on the Cash App. And more lies, talking about the police told her to leave her home shortly after being attacked with a brick. And the police didn't even pick up the suspect because there's not evidence to pick him up. But the point is that Rhoda Osman is showing a serious hatred. Why else would Rhoda be sitting up there with a stupid behind talking about a man attacked me with a brick and we know mother cuss? Well, that wasn't the case. I'm not really here to talk about Rhoda individually. But the updates do show something. It's more evidence of her lying. I want to talk about the pattern of hatred. I'm still learning how bad this hatred is. I myself am. I get surprised at times by how bad this hatred is, but it's bad. It's not a joke. This hatred is nothing to shake a stick at. Let me tell you about this hatred, y'all. You're hearing about a push for polyandry. Many of us have heard about it. And Crimson Cure over a year ago talked about the hatred for polygyny, but the love of polyandry. Polyandry serves something. I want you all to realize and think about this. Many women around the world naturally are not impressed by most of the men they see, and that's not wrong. It's up to them. I mean, women don't look at many men and say, well, these men are really that good looking, and they actually view most men as being below average. So to them, average is below average. Visually speaking, they're harder to impress. Okay, fine. It's up to them. I get it. Here's where the problem comes in. You ever notice that in the West, the hive mind takes over and contributes to that? You ever picked up on that? The reason they have the hive mind in the West is because they know mother cuss word well. And they were playing the long game all along. They know mother cuss word well that if they all agree to shut out most men, and they can agree on which men will be shut out, and they can take this tendency in women to not want most men, which is fine, but they can narrow that down to where they all want the same few men. They can shut the rest of them out. Now, this works against women's own interests too. We see them hit the wall, ain't got nobody, and now they stuck by themselves, and they deserve it. But what you see happening when they're young is that they can't bring themselves to respect their own individual preferences. See, naturally, every woman's 15% of men she finds attractive is not the same as every other woman's 15%, naturally. In the West, they've shifted it so that while it's natural for them to find about 15% of men they see to be even attractive enough, they now all have the same 15%. What does this do? Well, that 15%, I mean, of course, they're swimming in trim, but the rest of the men, the 85%, they are all shut out by all of the women, except the ones that no man could possibly want. Or they can find someone on really, really, really bad terms. And when I say bad, I mean, simply put, same terms a woman would not accept in a man become the terms the men must accept in order to be with anybody at all. That's not a coincidence. That's what I'm getting at. This is by design that they're like this. That's what I'm telling y'all. It is by design. This is, and that's the push for polyandry while pushing against polygyny is just the latest stage in it. That's what I wanted y'all to realize. I wanted y'all to stop and think about the fact that all it really is that they're pushing against, one because it's in the nature of men. And ironically, polygyny, as much as they don't like it and never have liked it, is still in their nature. To a certain extent, as I've stated, one of the things that women do like, even when they can judge for themselves, one of the things that women do like is to have the men that other women want. And this is where it gets to be funny because, I mean, we already know that, and I just said that in the West, they artificially focus themselves on the same 15%. It's not the number that's unnatural. It's not the percentage that's unnatural. It is the focusing on it. It is the coordination between all of them as to that 15% being the same. This agreement that they get to choose for each other who each one gets. That's the part that's unnatural. But you see, if women don't like polygyny, and there are women that a lot of women don't like it, the option has traditionally been that they can get a man who they like, but who doesn't make enough to take care of 2 and 3 wives. And that's actually a lot of men. And this is how it balanced out. People don't realize that. A lot of women ain't into it. What you are seeing now is a situation in which they've got their minds made up. They've actually had them made up like this for a while. We just didn't realize what was going on. So now I'm explaining it. If these ladies, well, they set this up in a nutshell, and they didn't even have to realize they were doing it. And they weren't sitting up 10 years ago saying, okay, in 2021, we're going to start pushing for polyandry. They didn't coordinate it like that. They weren't aware. But what they were doing for a long time, for decades, what they've been doing is they've been shutting out the majority of most men, and they've been agreeing with each other to shut out the majority of most men. That they have done. And this is where it gets even worse. Because they've done this for so long, you actually have a bunch of men, don't know nothing about the red pill, don't know nothing about none of this. And these men, well, this is where the problem comes in. These men really don't have options. And they've been told that they don't have options because of something wrong with them. They don't know that the reason they have no options is because this is coordinated. So these men really are not allowed to understand that it ain't got to be nothing wrong with them. That's the information that's being kept a secret from them. Damn near top secret. That it ain't their fault. They didn't do this to themselves. Okay, so you like comic books. That doesn't mean that's not the reason why. That doesn't make you a bad catch. Maybe not entertaining, but that doesn't make you a bad catch to her. It doesn't mean you're not a man because of that. Okay, you like comics. Whoop-de-doo. It was never about that. What I wanted you all to understand is that the reason why it is that they have this this push is partially because of the dual mating strategy. And it allows them to take this dual mating strategy and beautify it under another name, polyandry, like it's some kind of marriage. Now that's hypocritical on their part because that marriage, when it comes to polygyny in the West, they'll say, well, it can't work because you can't marry all the women under the state. It's true, but they can't marry 2 men under the state. All of a sudden, they don't demand a courthouse marriage for polyandry, just for polygyny. So that shows you right there that it's really about hatred. It's about them being against that which is easy and convenient for you. That's the first thing. But I also want y'all to notice that they were setting this up for a long time, even if they didn't think they were doing it, whether it was intentional on their part or not. They've been setting this up for a long time. Absolutely. And they're amused by it. To them, it's funny. There's no shame in this. Some of them actually feel embarrassed that they didn't try to come with something this mean and this trifling earlier on in their lives. No, some of them really think that. Some of them really think that they were negligent because they didn't come with something like this decades ago. Start pushing for polyandry and pushing against polygyny. Now, there was a point, of course, that length of time ago, they would have been considered nasty even by each other. They've been ramping up each other's hatred, and you're seeing the manifestation of it. So while the dual mating strategy does serve a purpose, and that is one of the major goals of this, understand too that this is just another manifestation of their hatred. It is a manifestation of their hatred for the normal men, and those are the ones that they're going to give a choice. You can share us with other men, and we'll probably have, we'll have one of you that's better than the rest, because women don't treat different men equally. And they'll tell you, you ask them, can you treat them equally? They'll tell you, no, I can't. But they're going to do this. They're going to have that, the one they're going to treat better than the others. And he will be the breeder. Now, he may not be that high value and super alpha and all that other stuff, but relatively speaking, he'll be that guy. Relatively. By comparison, he'll be that dude. Point is, they're not going to be treated equally. And even though the real high value man is the one that's not going to accept this kind of arrangement coming from them, what I'm telling you is that they're still going to have one by comparison. And so they're not even going to treat these men the same. But what they're thinking about doing, the whole point of this, is that they had their minds made up a while back. We're going to deny these men. Why? Because if they sit up and they deny most men any kind of decent relationship with them while they're young and in shape, they actually deny most men any relationship at all, married or not, then they're in a position to turn around and tell these men, you are going to accept that which I am bringing to the table. And that is polyandry. You're going to either share me with other men or you'll never be with anybody. And they actually have succeeded to where many men are facing that choice. Really bad choices. Be a stepdad before you're a dad, or be with nobody. Share me with other men, or be with nobody. Take me 3 times your weight and less than your height, or be with nobody. And now it's pretty much make millions and spoil me while I do absolutely nothing but spend your money, or be with nobody. Well, these women are pretty much, they're setting themselves up. And they've been doing this. They worked on this for decades, setting themselves up for decades to be able to say to men, give me everything I want and I give you nothing in exchange. I'll be with nobody. And then they join and actually surpass males in virgin shaming men or virginity shaming men. High school, everybody might do that because, dudes lying on their junk. But you'll notice early on in high school, the women will, the girls will do the virginity shaming of a man. Now, here's the thing. What age do they outgrow this? They don't. We've already seen that. The women don't outgrow that. They keep on doing it again and again and again. It doesn't stop. You a virgin? Well, what's up with that? It's either that or they lie and act like, oh, that's so sweet. And they're lying. Trying to figure out, are you gay or something? They're the worst ones about that, virginity shaming men, chastity shaming men. And that's one of the reasons why they do it, because they sit up and shame men for this while also agreeing that most men are going to wind up as such by default or stay such by default because they're shutting men out of anything. Then they can sit up and bring these bad deals and you have more of an impetus to take the bad deal. I told you it's war. I wish I was wrong, but I ain't been wrong yet about this. It's war, gentlemen. It's It's war with a capital W. The dual mating strategy is part of it, but it is one manifestation of their hatred for you as well. They have breeders and they got feeders, and they hate the feeders. They'll mark you as a feeder because they hate you, or you're a normal guy and then they hate you because you're normal, and they decide, well, the only way you're useful is as a feeder. That's how it comes. That's how it rolls. That's it. At the very least, when people breed animals and farm animals, they don't turn and take the breeding males to breed and then turn around and take the sterilized or the castrated males and say, okay, you're the stepdad and you're actually going to raise. At least they don't do that. No, these hyenas are doing exactly that. Thanks for listening. I hope this helps. As always, black heart, black mind, black out. Assalamu alaikum, and black heterosexual non-select male power just because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction of Judgment Day. Thanks again for flying with us on Jet Black Airways, where Jet Black is also a verb. Keep Jet Black with us until the wings and the wheels fall off this mother cuss word. Gender, justice, forever.